Hey, good evening. It's Saturday, August 20th, and welcome to my channel, Everyday Talk 24/7. Again, thanks so much for being here. We're going to finish up tonight Psalm 23. We do a brief study in it, just to look at the practicalness of it. We looked at the first 3 verses yesterday, and we're going to finish off with the second 3 verses. The first part talked about the calmness and the shepherding care, and the sheep lying down in green pastures. And those green pastures can be the wonderful pastures of God, even if it's a very rough, desolate scene. If we're with God, those pastures are still lush and green because He's being cared for. We're being cared for by Him. Well, the second half of the psalm moves into something a little more dramatic. That's why the thumbnail has wolves on it. And it's about our warrior shepherd. See, shepherds are not just people that are, passive and peaceful. To properly take care of the flock, the shepherds are powerful. They're ready for combat. David was engaged in combat all the time with the animals, with things that would be a danger to his flock. So we left off yesterday with this idea that God restores my soul, my shepherd, and He leads me in paths of righteousness on account of His name, for His goodness. But now notice the next path of righteousness that comes before us. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, or even though I walk through the darkest valleys, depending upon the translation that you have, I will not fear evil, I will not fear disaster, for you are with me. You see, this paths of righteousness are not simply the ones that lead us into good, comforting, happy situations. They also lead us into difficult situations, into fearful situations, and dangerous situations. But our God, our warrior shepherd, is there with us. So He's not going to fear disaster, for you are with me. And then most of your translations will say, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. But perhaps a better illustration would be, in Dale Ralph Davis's translation, is your club and your staff. Because this club was for fighting off these creatures, these fierce things that would attack the flock. This shepherd is a warrior shepherd, a powerful shepherd protecting his flock. Remind us of what Jesus talks about in describing Himself as the shepherd in John 10, where He says, no one can snatch His sheep from His hand. No one can do that. That's power. Romans 8 says that nothing can separate us from the love of Christ. But then there's also this image in Revelation 19 of Jesus as the great rider on the white horse, leading a triumphant armies to slay all of His enemies at the final battle. You see, these passive ideas of Jesus that we have, and passive shepherd ideas, they need to go away, because our God is rich and powerful and strong. Christ is a shepherd who can truly defend His sheep and care for them. So John 10 and Revelation 19 need to form our idea of a shepherd just as much as these nice passive scenes, sitting by the quiet waters and the shepherd just kind of enjoying, laying back. That happens sometimes. But sometimes these paths of righteousness that lead us through these dark valleys, these shadows of death, they're also the paths of righteousness. And what makes the difference is our warrior shepherd is right there with us. And then the psalm ends with this, again, this warrior shepherd has secured the safety of his sheep. So you prepare a table before me, right in front of my enemies, right in front of these wolves. Sit down, take it easy, take your time, eat right in front of them, because I'm protecting you. They can howl and scream and all they want. They can't hurt you, because I'm there with you. You have anointed my head with oil, beautiful oil. My cup just runs over because I'm full of the blessing of God at this table. And then it ends with this line. Again, your translations may say, surely goodness and mercy, but here only, Dr. Davis's translation, only goodness and faithful love, the Hesed love of Christ, will pursue me all the days of my life. And I shall turn into the house of Yahweh for the length of days, instead of as long as I live or forever. This idea here is twofold. God, as a shepherd, pursues us with his faithful Hesed love all the days of my life. No matter what I find myself in, the peaceful pasture or those dangerous valleys, the faithful love of God is pursuing me. So therefore I will turn to the house of Yahweh for the length of days. In other words, as long as time exists and beyond time. We're always with God. Yahweh is used here, and it's better translation than Lord, because Lord sometimes we think it's a title. But Yahweh is the personal name of God. This personal shepherd who cares deeply for you and me will pursue us and bring us into his house for all eternity, for all the time that there are days. So you see, the promise at the beginning has been shown to be true even at the end of the psalm. Yahweh is my shepherd. I will never lack anything. In the ordinary times, in the pleasant valleys, pleasant pastures, in the fearful times when we have to walk through those difficult valleys, and then when we see danger in those dangerous times, and even at the last time. The loving kindness of my warrior, faithful, loving shepherd is right there with me. And I can rejoice in him, rest in him this night, all nights. What a beautiful picture the Psalm 23 paints. It's not just for funerals and the end of life. It's for all of life. The life that you and I are living right now. Our faithful shepherd is with us. And what a great way to end this week. Prepare for worship tomorrow on the Lord's Day, wherever the situation you're in, and rejoice in the faithfulness of God, because he is your faithful, loving shepherd, your warrior shepherd, who will pursue you from now to the end of time with his gracious love. And that's the thought for this night. Thanks so much for being here. Check us out Everyday Talk 24/7. If you haven't, turn on post notifications, turn them on. Videos will come right to you. So good to be with you. And Lord willing, we'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.